my dear students, welcome back to today's class, and today we are going to discuss about the second lesson in the 8th block, that is nerves. Our second lesson name is nerves. We already discussed that our nervous system consists of our brain, spinal cord and nerves, right? And the previous class we already discussed about the brain and its function, all those things we discussed. So there we learned that brain is actually the master of our body, right? And we learned the brain means brain control all our body movements and all those things, thinking, and it is considered different parts of brain we discussed. So in there we learned that center of intelligence, and it give balance to our body, and the brain it also helps the involuntary and voluntary activities happen. We understand that the importance of brain and all those things in different situation, how we are reacting, all those things are depending upon our brain. So how does your brain know what it has to do? We already learned that brain controls all our body activities or movements of our muscles, all those things we discussed. And how this brain comes to know what all the things are, or how this brain come to know what it has to do, and how does it comes to know about what your hands touch or eyes see. How does this brain come to know all those things? All those things, when we consider, brain can respond in various stimulus or various situations. Our brain responds us, means according to that way we are doing our work. So if there is a pain in our knee or in our hand or in fingers, if your finger is injured, for example, there is an injury in your finger, suddenly you will get the pain. And how you can feel the pain? How you come to know is there is a paining in my fingers, or in your leg also some injuries happen, suddenly that pain will spread, or you can easily feel the pain. How does it happens? So all those things, reasons we will discuss in today's class. Okay, so what we are going to discuss today? Today we are going to classify the nerves based on their functions in our body. So in the beginning I asked some questions, like how the brain come to know what all the things, or in our body various parts, maybe injury or like this paining may happens. How this brain, or sometimes is there any kinds of paining or injuries is happened in our fingers or hand and all, we will put some kind of betadine like these things, or ointment like this, or we just at least we are folding that injured part with the help of a cloth. Means at the same time we will add some medicines into it and we fold it. How these all the things are all those instructions are given by our brain in different situations, how we need to how we are responding. For example only I am saying, if someone is telling you there is a paining in the muscles, so we will use some kinds of like spray, or we are just massage that part, like that things we are doing, right? So all those instructions are actually given by our brain. If our finger got injured, then how does it comes to know that paining is actually a sensation, and in that situation how we have to respond? Okay, so that information is given by who? Our brain. And before that, that information has to send to the brain, right? If our top of the finger is injured, from that part that information or that message should pass to brain, and again brain give an yes, you can use or that time only we are using some kinds of ointment or like betadines, like that things we are applying to our injured part. So that kinds of instructions are actually given by who? Our brain. And how does brain know about all these injured part, that paining? How it comes to know? That is mainly in our body, all over our body, nerves are present. Okay, so these nerves are actually carries the informations between the brain to other parts and other parts of our body to brain. Okay, so what is nerve? Nerve made up of nerve cells or neurons. Nerves made up of nerve cells and neurons. Here we can write nerve, and this nerve made with nerve cell or neuron. Nerve cells, another name is neuron. Okay, so nerve cells or neurons are actually the building structure, or actually the combination of nerve cells and neurons make nerve. Okay, so our nerve is made with the number of nerve cells or neurons. And what's this nerve cells? What is nerve cells? In this picture, you can see the nerve cells. And this nerve cell is an elongated, this nerve cells, when we consider about this nerve cell, it's an elongated in shape. Nerve cells are elongated in shape, and it have hair-like structures at both the ends. And both the ends you can see some spread, like some you can see the both the ends some lines. Okay, that lines are hair-like structure, and these hair-like structures can easily carries and transfer the messages to from various parts to brain and from the brain to other parts of the body. For example, in the beginning I told you that, is there any kind of injuries or small injuries happening to the happening to our fingers, top of the fingers? So there is nerves present in that part, and that nerves carries that informations to our brain, and that time brain give our instruction, yes, you can use any kinds of antiseptic lotions or anything. So that lotion, according, these instructions are actually given by our brain. Okay, so we can say that nerves which carries the informations between the brain and other organs or other parts of our body. Are you clear? Yes. So what we discussed now, all those information in our body, there is various organs are present, and at the same time in our body that different parts are there, our leg, hand and various parts are there. If any of the part got any kinds of injury or paining, anything it happens, so that time this nerve cells, okay, nerves is the combination of nerve cells or neurons. This nerves carries that information to our brain. So that time only we are feeling a pain. Okay, if is there any kinds of neurons in our hand got damaged, so what will happen? Whatever things happens to our hands, we will not able to recognize. That's why sometimes and at the same time, is any kinds of, is this nerves are damaged in our hand. For example, if the nerves in hand is damaged, so what will happen? Is any kind of paining or anything is happening there, we will not realize it. We can't feel any kind of paining. Why? Because these nerves can't able to carry that information to our brain. All this paining, everything is happening because of our brain. Means paining, we are feeling the sensation of pain. That is also mainly because of the brain. Means that means this nerves carries the information from that injured part to our brain. Okay. So that time it will produce, or these things you can easily connect with in your and daily life also. If you are sending any messages to your friends, or you are sending the messages every time according to the workbook messages to me, through my WhatsApp you are sending. So that time is there any correction or anything, I give and reply for you. So the same way this nerve, okay, if we touch an hot tea containing glass, so suddenly we are pulled back our hand. Okay, so that time there is a nerve which is present in our that part, okay, in our fingers, that give the information like too hot to our brain. Means like that message it passes. So that time this brain give another response. That brain is respond to us, pull the hand. That's why we are pull it back. If any kinds of damages happens to our nerves, okay, when we are touching the hot object, so that time we are not feeling any kinds of hotness or coldness. So that is because of the means that nerves can't able to pass that message to our brain if the nerves are damaged. Are you clear? Yes. And when we are considering about these nerves, it carries the informations to the, I already told, it carries the informations between the brain and other parts. Carries the messages from between various parts and brain. Okay. And at the same time, normally these nerves act as so these nerves are actually the electric wires in our body. How can we compare it with electric wires? We know that in our home there is number of electrical appliances are there, right? How does these appliances are works? With the help of electricity. For example, when we are switch on the bulb, so what will happen? That bulb produces light. Or when we switch on the TV or television or fan, when we switch on the fan, that fan starts to work, like it starts to rotate. Is it right? The same way only these nerves plays. In it means if we consider all this, why when we are switched on, that time that particular appliances, how does it works? Because from that switch to the fan there is an electric wires, that connection is there. When we are switch on, electric signals or this electron, there is a flow of charge from the switch to the electrical appliance, fan, washing machine or anything. The same way our nerves act as an electric wires. Actually these electric wires in the electrical appliances, it passes, it allows the flow of electricity from the switch to the electrical appliances. Okay, so that time electrical appliances starts to work. In our case also, these nerves act as an electric wires. That means in the case of electric wires, it allows the flow of electricity, and in the case of our nerves, what's its duty? It allows the flow of messages, or it allows the passage of various information or messages from the brain to other parts of the body or various other parts to our brain. Are you clear about the topic now? Okay, so nerve is nerve. It's made up of what? It's made up of nerve cells or neurons. Okay, and what's the speciality of these nerve cells? It's an elongated, and the shape of these nerve cells or neurons. These neurons are elongated in shape, and it has an hair-like structure in both the ends. Okay, and at the same time, we can consider this. What's the function of these nerves? It carries the, or it transfer or pass the messages between the brain to other organs, brain and other organs or other parts of our body. And what's our aim of this lesson? To classify the nerves based on their functions. And what's the first we need to find out what's the function of nerves. What's the function of nerves? Yes, nerves which carry the informations between brain and other parts of our body. So that is the function of our nerve. Is it right? Yes. And on that basis, we can divide the nerves into 3 types. Okay. So this nerve we can divide into 3 types on the basis of their function itself. And first one is sensory nerves. Sensory nerves. This N for nerves. Short we can write. Sensory nerves. Then another one is motor nerves. Motor nerves. And last one is mixed nerves. Mixed nerves. These are the various types of nerves. What are they? Sensory nerves, motor nerves and mixed nerve. Okay. What's the function of sensory nerve? Sensory nerves are the nerves which carries the informations from various parts of our body to brain. So that means as this sense, we already discussed about the sense organs. What are the sense organs? Our eyes, nose, tongue, ears and our skin. These are the sensory organs present in our body. Is it right? Yes. So sensory organs means what all the things we are seeing. Okay. With the help of our eyes we can see around us. Okay. So if you met one of your best friend, so that time no need of thinking who's this like that. No need of thinking it. You can easily yes, she is my friend or he is my friend and he know about his name or her name is right. So like these kinds of informations when we are, these are sense organs. Okay, and when we touch an hot object or is there any kinds of injury, all these things are our skin also a sense organ. Okay, so this from these sensory organs, okay, or in our body from the various sense of touch and all these things we discussed. So when we touch an object, so that time or we are feeling this, already I told you that we are feeling the sensation of touch and the sensation of vision, sensation of hearing. All these things are responsible for sensory nerves. Why? This sensory nerves carries the informations from various parts of our body. That various parts you can include our eyes, nose, tongue and everything. Family members voice easily you can recognize without seeing them. Okay, so all those things it's recorded in our brain and at the same time when we are hearing the voice, so that time what are the things if for example if I am telling you to complete worksheet S2, so you will do that work. Why? Because you hear the sound and your sense organs what done? Yes, you have to complete the work. Then you should write each question and answers everything. Right? So like this kinds of things you are doing. What all the things we are doing by hearing, seeing or sensation of touch and taste, that all those things are because of the sensory nerves. Sensory nerves which carries the informations from various parts of our body to our brain. Are you clear about sensory nerves? And second one is motor nerves. In this motor nerves, its speciality is that just opposite to sensory nerves. That means it carries the messages or information from our brain to various parts of the body. That already I told you that if you means in an exam time or anything, our brain give many information to us. Okay, so that time if you has to write something you by hearted or something you learned in exam time, according to the question. When you are reading the question, according to that you can write the answers. So like these kinds of answers, it's recorded in your memory, and these things are, or any kinds of information, if anyone is asking you something, if for example your friend is asking you for a pen, can you give me a pen, then if you have 2 pens, what you will do, you will give 1 pen to her. So all these activities are our brain involved, or one day and you forgot to take back that pen from your friend. So next day you will remember, yes, I mean, so my pen is with my friend. So you will ask her, can you give my pen return, like that you will ask, right? Yes. So all those things are recorded in our brain. Okay, and in various situations we are responding on that. All those things are based on this motor nerve. Okay, and for example, sometimes if anyone is asking you something, and according to that way you are responding them. So all those things in various situations, how does you are doing various things. Or I told you that the pain, if we touch an hot object and all, or any kind, if we touch an hot tea containing glass, suddenly we pull our hands back. So that pulling back, that is actually the motor nerves which gives informations from the brains to your hand. Pull out or pull the hand. That's why you are pull it. Okay, are you clear about motor nerve? And the third one is mixed nerves. Mixed nerves is the, what all the things are, some nerves which you can both carry the informations from sensory organ to brain and brain to sensory organs. So that is considered as mixed nerves. It is the combination of sensory and motor nerves. Mixed nerves, in the case of sensory nerves, it can only take the information from the various parts to brain. Okay, that nerves can't able to return the information. Only it can take the informations from various parts of our body to our brain. And motor nerves, it can only take the information from the brain to other parts of our body. And in the case of mixed nerves, are some nerves which can take the informations from the brain to other parts, and at the same time other parts of the body to brain. Okay, that's all about these 3 types of nerves. Okay, and its function already we discussed. And at the same time we can consider one more thing. Already I told you that our nervous system, it consists of brain, nerves, spinal cord. If we consider about our spinal cord, in your textbook here one picture here it is given. Here you can see that yellow lines, you can see that the yellow lines are actually the nerves which is attached with our spinal cord. And we know that the spinal cord is this long rope-like part of nervous system. That means in the case of ropes, we know that at a height, means it has some height, or it is situated from definite height. So the spinal cord is a long rope-like part of the nervous system, and that connects, normally we know that the spinal cord that connects the brains to other parts of our body. It is made up of millions of nerves that are bundled together, and it is protected by backbone. So this spinal cord, when we are considering about, when we discussed about this brainstem, we learned that brainstem which connects the brains to the spinal cord, right? Yes, and in this spinal cord there is a millions of nerves. They are bundled together. So as a result, what will happen? It gives all the informations to our various parts. Okay, so in our spinal cord itself, it contains millions of nerves. Okay, and this spinal cord is actually our spinal cord is protected by the backbone. Okay, so that's all about today's class. And today's class, what all the things we discussed? So we learned that what is nerve. Nerves are the nerves made with the neurons, number of neurons, and it carries the passes the messages between the brain to brain and other organs or other parts of our body. Then on the basis of function, we can divide the nerves into three types, that are sensory nerves, motor nerves and mixed nerves. And sensory nerves, it carries the informations from the other parts or sense organs, like sense already we discussed, or various parts to brain. And motor nerves are the nerves which carries the informations from the brain to other parts of our body. And mixed nerves, it can do both sensories and motor nerves together, means both it carries the informations or messages from brain to other parts and other parts to brain. Okay, so what are the keywords we discussed in this lesson? Nerves, nerve cells and neurons. Okay, in these nerve cells another name is there, neuron. Okay, neuron, nerve cell, nerves, then motor nerves, sensory nerves, mixed nerves. These are the keywords of this lesson. What are the keywords? Nerve cells, neurons, nerve, sensory nerves, motor nerves, mixed nerves. So you should learn the spelling and pronunciation of all these words. Now we can discuss the worksheet. Worksheet. Which worksheet we need to discuss today? S2, right? Yes. And in S2, first question, here it is given, what is a nerve? Okay. So here you can write in your content book already, here it is given, a nerve which is made with the neurons, and it carries the information or it passes the messages between the nerves and between the brain and other part of our body. Okay, that is the first question answer. And second one, draw a nerve cell and describe it. In your textbook, that diagram is given, the diagram of nerve cells. Okay, so that diagram you have to draw in your, here some space left. So that space you have to draw the nerve cell and we have to describe it. Okay, so in a nerve cell, it is an elongated in shape. Nerve cells are elongated in shapes and it has hair-like structures in both the end. And one more thing, it's no need of writing the answer. Why there is an elongated shape for these nerve cells? Because these nerve cells has to carry the informations from to a long distance. Okay, so their structure is adapted to do it. Okay, so that elongated shape has to carry the informations to a long distance. That's why it has an elongated shape. And third question, Anita went on a holiday to a hill station. She made a painting of the mountains. And first part in that third question A, which type of nerve helped carry the messages to make the painting to the brain? So actually she went to the hill station. So that mountains and these mountains, while how we are drawing the diagrams, while sometimes normally when we are drawing the draw the mountains and all in a hill station, she can see it, or she already she already know about the mountains structure. Okay, so which nerves helps to draw it? Sensory nerves. Okay, and which type of nerve help to carry the command to the hand? Command to the hand. Which type of nerve helped to carry the command to the hand? She has to draw, and that command she has to take from brains to hand. So that is motor nerve. Okay. Which type of the second part? B answer is motor nerves. And fourth question, what can happen if the sensory nerves of the hand get damaged? So if the sensory nerves damaged, normally we know that it has to take the messages from the hands to or various parts from the hands to brain according to this question. So if it is damaged, so what will happen? It will causes a weakness or twitching. Means normally we can't able to move our hands because these brain are giving some information or to our nerves. Okay, so that sensory nerves are giving some messages to our brain, then only that brain can respond. Okay, so if the sensory nerves got damaged, which means that it will leads to the weakness of our hand, arm and wrist. At last it may leads to the paralysis condition of our hand. Then why do we need to protect our nerves? Okay, actually these nerves keeps our body active because in various situations we are walking or doing various things. If we need to take a book, so that time all those times we are actually moving our hand and everything according to the instructions or on the basis of these nerves. So these nerves can balance both inside and outside of our body. Okay, so all those informations we are getting from our body with the help of our nerves are passages of messages. It can pass the messages, so it is important to protect the nerves. For doing our voluntary and involuntary activities, we should protect these nerves. Okay, so these nerves involves mainly the passage of information and voluntary and activities. So that's why it's important to protect these nervous nerves. Okay, and how can we protect and all? Here it is not asked. So for your understanding, you just remember with an regular exercise, healthy diet and all we can, and we have to give enough rest to our body also. Last class we discussed we can keep our brain fit by yoga, meditations and giving rest to like 8 or 10 hours sleep. The same way we need to give some rest to our body. Okay, this nerves is present all over our body, so we should give some rest and balanced. We have to take a balanced diet. Regular exercise can also protect our nerves. And mainly these nerves are getting damaged mainly because of when we fall from means a certain height, and some accidents are mainly happening the damage of these nerves. Okay, so that's all about today's class, and according to today's class you have to complete the worksheet S2. Okay, thank you.
Control and coordination are provided by nervous and muscular tissues. All information from our environment is detected by the specialized tips of some nerve cells. These receptors are usually located in our sense organs. Nerve cells or neurons respond to external and internal stimuli. Let's understand the structure of a neuron or nerve cell. Neuron. A neuron is a nerve cell with branches. It is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. It may be elongated over 100 centimeter. A neuron can detect, receive and conduct the nerve impulse to various parts of the body.